Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well informed. Today we're plunging into something really fascinating. It's this evolution in how machines, how we're going beyond just looking at the world. They're starting to genuinely understand it, and act within it. Think about the difference between like seeing a photo of a room versus actually being in the room, able to walk around, maybe pick something up. That's kind of a leap we're talking about for AI. There's that great quote from Fei Lion. She said, "Seeing is for doing and learning." And that idea, that's pretty much our compass for this deep dive. We're exploring the power of spatial AI and sensor fusion, specifically how they're transforming warehouse operations into something, autonomous, turning these big static storage places into dynamic, intelligent ecosystems, ones that can see, act, and learn.
Exactly. And for you listening, our mission here is really to unpack what these things are there, spatial AI, sensor fusion, what they actually are, and importantly, why they're not just, interesting tech, but why they're fundamentally changing logistics. We'll look at some really cool examples too from some pioneering startups. The goal is to give you those key takeaways, maybe some surprising facts, and show how this shift in automation is actually playing out. And it's incredibly timely, isn't it? With a huge surge in e-commerce, warehouses have become these critical battlegrounds. Efficiency, agility, they're paramount. So this isn't just theory. It's about solving real, urgent problems right now.
Okay, let's really get into it then. Spatial AI. It sounds a bit sci-fi maybe, but what's the real leap here? What does it actually mean for a machine to see spatially? Like beyond just processing an image.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's moving beyond just passive vision, where a camera just sees pixels. Instead, spatial AI lets machines build a real-time dynamic 3D model of what's around them. So it's not just, okay, I see a box. It's more like, I understand that box is, say, 3 feet from the shelf. It might be moving, and oh, it's this close to a person.
Yeah.
It's the jump from just perceiving to having this active, almost intuitive intelligence. It allows machines to not just observe, but to really understand and then act within that complicated 3D world, kind of like we do.
Okay. So it's like giving them depth perception and context, not just raw sight. And you mentioned the backbone for this is often sensor fusion. Sounds technical. What is that exactly? How does it help build this richer understanding?
Right. It's totally fundamental. Sensor fusion is essentially about combining data from lots of different sources. Think about how we use sight, hearing, touch all together, right? For machines, it's pulling together info from cameras, that's the visual stuff, and LiDAR.
LiDAR, yeah, the laser scanning tech.
Exactly, using lasers to measure distance and shapes. And you add a whole bunch of IoT sensors, things measuring temperature, pressure, maybe even vibrations, all sorts of data.
Wow, okay. That's a lot of different data streams coming in. How does sensor fusion make sense of it all?
Well, the clever part is how it integrates everything. It cross-references the data from all those different sensors. This gives you a much more complete and frankly more reliable picture than any single sensor could manage on its own. What you get out of it are these real-time actionable insights. It really bridges the gap between what's physically happening, like on the warehouse floor, and the digital intelligence that can analyze it and then, direct actions precisely. It's about getting that whole continuous view.
Okay, so putting spatial AI and sensor fusion together, what kind of real-time monitoring does that actually enable in a warehouse? Must be a huge change.
Oh, absolutely massive. Combine these two and you can continuously monitor, pretty much every square inch of a warehouse in real time. This constant flow of really rich contextualized data, it sets the stage for truly autonomous workflows. Think self-driving robots navigating complex spaces. It allows for things like predictive maintenance, knowing a machine needs attention before it actually breaks down. And crucially, it just enhances every single decision. Where to put inventory, how to route things, everything gets smarter.
So with these powerful capabilities, how are companies actually, using them? Are they just adding them on top of old systems, or is it deeper?
It's definitely a deeper integration. What we're seeing is organizations weaving these AI models right into their core warehouse management systems, their WMS. This lets them optimize everything, like slotting, figuring out the absolute best place to store each item for fast retrieval, or forecasting demand much more accurately because they have real-time spatial data. They can even dynamically route their autonomous mobile robots, AMRs, around the facility with amazing precision. It's all fueled by these incredibly rich sensor insights.
Right, and this is where it gets really exciting, I think. As these technologies mature, we're seeing this whole new wave of startups. They're the ones making autonomous warehouses actually practical, not just a concept. They're really pushing the boundaries. So let's showcase 5 pioneers from the Microsoft for Startups portfolio who are making serious waves here. Okay, first up, RAIC Labs. Their focus is on vision intelligence at planet scale. Sounds big. Their core thing is turning raw images into useful insights. They use some pretty advanced techniques, kind of like creating a digital fingerprint for pixels to make finding stuff super fast.
Yeah, planet scale isn't an exaggeration. Their platform can instantly search trillions of pixels across satellite images, video feeds, regular photos. Just imagine that volume. And they can find something specific from just one example image, often in seconds, not hours of someone manually scanning. They have RAAI search for quickly finding targets in these massive data sets, and RAOC monitoring, which gives you alerts about changes or specific objects, cutting out that manual review bottleneck.
So the speed and precision are really the key differentiators there. The real-world applications must be huge.
Totally. RAIC's tech is being used in all sorts of areas. Environmental research, for example, tracking tiny changes over large areas, but also in really critical stuff like search and rescue missions. It just shows that incredible speed and accuracy in handling visual data, making sense of that flood of images.
Okay, next on our list is Worlds.io. They're doing immersive 3D AI for physical operations. Their main capability seems to be mapping live camera feeds into one unified 3D model of a whole physical space, like a real-time digital twin, right?
Pretty much, yeah. A constantly updating digital twin. But what's really impressive is how they do it. It allows for really precise object detection, measurement, tracking, all within that 3D context, but without needing tons of manual data labeling or calibration beforehand. Their NQ system, that stands for no query, basically means it needs very little handholding. It automatically builds these high-quality models from the customer's own data. They claim it reduces the human effort needed by like 99%, which is huge. And they do it while keeping data privacy front and center.
Wow, 99% reduction in effort. That really speeds things up and makes it way more accessible. And their World's RT system, the real-time one, gives a secure way to deploy this, pulling in data from different cameras and feeding that spatial intelligence back into the business systems for automation. Very neat. All right, moving on. Tenyks.ai. Their angle is video AI agents for operational excellence. So taking standard surveillance cameras and making them smart, like AI agents.
Exactly. Turning that passive footage into active business intelligence, that's the goal. But the really cool part is how. They use something called Video GPT technology. This lets users search their video footage using just natural language, like typing a question. Imagine asking, show me the last time a forklift went through Bay 3, and boom, you get the clips instantly, even across hours of video. It's like Google search, but for your physical operations captured on camera.
That immediately makes sense for operations. Better safety, compliance, just knowing what's happening. You can imagine using it to prevent theft, right? Or optimize how traffic flows in busy areas, make sure safety rules are followed, all from the cameras you probably already have.
Precisely. Real-time monitoring, custom alerts for specific activities. It unlocks a lot of value from existing infrastructure.
Then we have Map.com. They offer an independent data layer for smart warehouses. Their focus seems to be on unifying all the different data sources in these complex buildings. So pulling data from building systems, IoT sensors, cloud platforms, everything, into one standard format, like a universal translator for building data.
That's a good way to put it. They centralize all this real-time data into a single, unified schema specifically, the BRIC schema, which is becoming an industry standard. This means all those different systems, which normally don't talk to each other, can now share data seamlessly. And a key thing here is that it's designed for portfolio scale, managing data across multiple facilities, not just one. It delivers insights for inventory optimization, checking environmental conditions, managing energy use across the whole network. Warehouse managers can link their WMS data with alerts, say if a cold storage area gets too warm, or use camera analytics to see where staff movement creates bottlenecks. Optimize space, vehicle routes. It really simplifies building things like digital twins, too.
Yeah, having that unified data layer must make a huge difference for being proactive, right?
Yeah.
Managing the facility strategically instead of just reacting.
Absolutely. It's about proactive management.
Okay, last but not least, Unbox Robotics. They have an innovative vertical sortation and order consolidation system. Their main product, Unbox Sort, uses robotics vertically with swarm intelligence AMRs, autonomous mobile robots working together. Sounds very cool.
It is very cool. It's a fantastic example of spatial intelligence really being put to work. This system uses AMRs that work together like a swarm to sort parcels, but they do it vertically using high-density racks. This achieves incredible accuracy, like 99.99%, but also saves a ton of space 50 to 70% less floor space compared to old school conveyor belts.
Hmm.
And they offer it using a robotics as a service model, RAIC. It powers order consolidation, basically grouping all the items for an order together efficiently, whether it's cartons, parcels, mixed items.
RAIC makes sense. So the advantages for businesses using this are pretty clear then. Fast setup, less upkeep.
Exactly. Deployment can happen in weeks, not months or years. Maintenance is minimal, and you can scale capacity up or down as needed. It makes it really ideal for companies doing omni-channel retail, dealing with those unpredictable surges in online orders. They need that flexibility.
So looking across these 5 startups, RAIC Labs, Worlds.io, Tenyks.ai, Map.com, Unbox Robotics, it's clear they're all leveraging spatial AI and sensor fusion, but in really distinct, powerful ways. Scaling vision, modeling spaces, mining video, unifying data, automating in 3D.
Yeah, and stepping back for a second, this all fits into a much bigger trend. These innovations are driving more autonomy, more resilience throughout the whole logistics chain.
Yeah.
Looking ahead, we're definitely seeing this convergence. AI, robotics, sensor fusion, they're all coming together, and that's just going to accelerate everything.
And we're seeing specific trends emerge from that convergence, aren't we? Like digital twins becoming more common, being able to simulate and optimize a whole warehouse layout virtually before you physically change anything. That's powerful. Imagine testing workflows without moving a shelf.
Absolutely. And another huge one is 5G integration. Having that super fast, low latency communication is going to be vital for coordinating swarms of AMRs, smart conveyors, all those IoT devices talking to each other instantly. A truly connected warehouse.
Right. And building on the Unbox Robotics example, that robotics as a service model seems poised to explode, making advanced automation accessible to more businesses by lowering the upfront costs and letting them scale flexibly. That could really democratize this tech.
For sure. So the vision for, say, 2025 and beyond, it's warehouses becoming these living, self-optimizing ecosystems, powered by spatial AI and sensor fusion, guided by constant data insights, and operated by these hybrid teams, humans and autonomous systems working side by side seamlessly. It's a genuine paradigm shift.
And the kinds of innovations we've talked about today from companies like RAIC, Worlds.io, Tenyks, Mapped, Unbox, they really feel like just the beginning, don't they? The start of a whole new era.
Absolutely. So just to kind of wrap up, spatial AI and sensor fusion, they are fundamentally changing how machines understand and interact with physical space. We're seeing machines move beyond just observing. They're actively participating, learning from their environment in really quite sophisticated ways now.
Which brings us right back to that Fei Lai quote, doesn't it? Seeing is for doing and learning. And as machines gain this true spatial intelligence, this ability to really grasp and act within the 3D world, it leaves us with a final thought for you, our listener. How might this capability, this deep understanding of physical space, soon change other parts of our lives, beyond the warehouse? Think about our homes, our cities. What new possibilities open up when machines truly understand the physical world around them like this? Something to ponder. Thanks for diving deep with us today. Until next time, keep exploring.